The future belongs to those who dare, those who will do extra. Hi, I'm Mark Croskery. Welcome to Business Live Extra, the program that looks beyond dollars and cents to the movers and shakers in business and the capital markets. Today's guest is a dynamic woman who has over 19 years of experience in the areas of investment banking, research, new product development, pension fund, and portfolio management. She holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Geology from the University of West Indies, UWI, and a Master of Business Administration degree from the University of Sunderland in the UK. Among her many accomplishments, she's registered and licensed to sell and give advice on life, sickness, health insurance, business. She serves as a director of Chicken Mistress Limited, Ajas Limited, First Rock PE, and Island Grill Holdings Limited, and as a mentor and director for many major and publicly listed companies on the Jamaica Stock Exchange, JSE. She's been a member of the company's board of directors since November 2017 and was appointed to the role of CEO effective January 1st of this year. Joining us today is Tania Waldron-Gooden, CEO of Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited, CAB. Tania, welcome to Business Live Extra.
Thank you, Mark.
It's great to see you.
Thanks for having me.
Always welcome.
Always a pleasure to see you.
It's great. You know, Tania, you're so well respected and highly respected as an investment banker, you know, mentor to so many Jamaican companies, but now, boom, you're a CEO.
Boom. It's not quite boom, Mark, but thank you.
Well, it is. You know, it's a big career move and you know, a big move for you or anyone. Yeah. And now you're a CEO of Caribbean Assurance Brokers, a publicly traded company, and insurance brokerage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
How does it make you feel?
It's a great opportunity. I feel like as if I've been training for this all my life.
Really? Okay.
In many roles, as you just read, pension fund management, securities dealing, all of that, it has basically molded me into the role of managing this company. Being on the company's board since 2017, I saw great possibilities and prospects, hence why I was there from the beginning when they decided to list on the junior market to guide through that process. So me being internal now basically gives me the opportunity to scale even further. And that's how I feel about the experience.
And before you got into the driver's seat, you know, earlier this year, were you like a general manager or a deputy CEO for a period of time as well?
Yes. So I started CAB officially in office October 1st, 2020. And that gave me an opportunity to just hit the ground running and see what is going on. My role then was deputy CEO.
Okay.
So I was shadowing Raymond Walker.
Right.
And he has a wealth of knowledge in the insurance industry.
Of course.
And of course, I can find no better person to learn from. And we still have that close relationship day to day because, as you know, he has stepped down from CEO, hence me in the role, and he's now our executive chairman. Okay. So he's there, but I'm in the driver's seat.
How do you find it working with an executive chairman? I mean, I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. You know, so sometimes, I mean, for example, Supreme Ventures has an executive chairman.
Yeah.
I think Panjam has one too. It's gaining popularity locally.
Yeah.
But sometimes they say the executive chairman interferes with the day-to-day duties of the CEO. Are you having any issues with that, or is it clear? Is it clear sailing?
It's very clear because that role has always been in the mind before we even thought of the role of CEO or before we identified a CEO, which is me, which we didn't plan for that.
Right.
But it just became natural. It was a natural transition. Mr. Walker doesn't interfere day to day. He wants to, he knows that I'm capable, and he has been excited from day one. And what he does is allow me to do. And then the board, on top of that, allows him to let go, and he does let go.
That. So is he more focused in that role, like more like business development?
It's more business development, strategic, bringing in, deepening our relationships with overseas partners, going into new regions, regions, and within the region as well.
Okay, and Tania, did you find, you were in Mayberry before, financial sector, you have a great relationship with, the regulator, FSC.
Yes.
CAB is a FSC regulated company. Did you find the pivot was a little easier for you based on the experience, or was it a kind of a brand new sector?
It's a brand new sector, but relationships with the regulators are paramount.
Yes.
And I've been able to, for example, in my previous role, I'll just touch on that a bit, I could put out IPOs back to back because of my relationships with the regulators, JSE, particularly FSC.
You're known as the IPO, well, queen.
Yes.
The company might be the IPO king, but you're IPO queen, Tanya.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is, I'm glad you brought that up. So when the transition occurred, it wasn't so hard for me to pick up the phone.
Right.
I had those relationships, and all those relationships were in securities. The pension, everybody in the FSC kind of know each other. So they say, okay, Tanya wants to speak to you, and she's good to talk to. You know, you get that feedback, and there's a trust and a relationship that built over the years. So I found it a little easier than most would because of that previous relationship.
Yeah. And how, you've been on the board, as you mentioned, for roughly 5 years. So, did that help you with the kind of just picking up and, maybe, is it like pricing securities? Like, do you have to kind of price insurance and how to make this business more profitable? Or is it just totally different in the securities industry?
In the securities industry, I basically created securities within that debt and equity overall branch. In insurance, it's all, especially, let me just pull it back a bit, it's insurance brokerage that we're in. So in that space, you rely on the insurers for products and so on. That is on one part of it, because we also have our international product, which I'll get into.
Okay.
So for local insurance, the insurance companies basically has the product. We negotiate on behalf of the clients for the best price on the product. So they are already created.
Right.
In the security space, we basically can create a debt instrument, for example, change the interest rate based on the climate, structure whether unsecured or secured notes, so you can create, it's more dynamic. However, there are opportunities in the international space that would allow us to create, for want of a better word. We have a flagship product on the international side where we basically, that's CAB's product.
Okay.
So
and that's your bread and butter, right?
That's the flagship product.
Okay.
And we're quite proud of that, because it's not like an insurer can come and tell us how the product should be structured.
Is that where the kind of the bulk of revenue or the concentration of revenue is for CAB?
Yeah,
okay.
That's the CAB. That's our flagship product and our major revenue earner at this time.
What's the product called, Tanya?
It's iChip, but I can't get into that.
Okay, that's the name of the product.
Yes.
And is it like, when you say bulk or the flagship, I mean, is it more than, say, 60% or 70% of the revenue?
No, when I got there in 2017 on the board, I would say, and I'm estimating here, 65% of the revenue was that travel, international space, particularly that product. As we grew, strategize on diversifying the revenue stream, right now it's less than 50.
Okay.
And that's the aim.
And that was one of your objectives?
Yes.
Congrats.
Since 2019, actually, before we listed on the exchange.
On the exchange, yeah. And how long so CAB is listed about 3 years now?
2020 March. So
yeah.
2 years March.
And how do you feel about especially the investment banking side of your brain? How do you feel about the sector? You feel it's ripe for consolidation? How do you feel CAB is going to grow going forward?
So without saying much more, forward-looking statements and all, and JSC, we have to grow inorganically as well as organically, and I guess that's where consolidation came in. In my former capacity, I also headed research, and we have always seen that the insurance industry is ripe for consolidation. When I'm in the belly of the beast now, it's going to take some time. It might not be as soon as we think, but yes, to the question I asked.
Okay. And do you find that the customers, I mean, similar to what we've seen in security dealer sector, especially the commercial banking sector, are the customers you find at CAB or, let's say, the industry very sticky?
When you say sticky, Mark, what do you mean?
Are they with you today and they leave next year, or they kind of stay with you over like a long period of time?
All right, so I can't speak to commercial banking per se, but on the investment banking side.
Your customers at CAB.
Yeah, so at CAB, I find they're loyal customers.
You have strong retention.
Strong retention. International business, strong retention there. General business, because remember, we do all classes of business.
Okay.
EB, we have a very good rate of retention there as well, and we are growing again there once more.
And EB is the employee benefits.
benefits.
So you do that as well too?
Yes. So every individual, local individual insurance, we do employee benefits.
Yes.
Which is group life, group health, group pension plan, voluntary groups, you name it.
No, it's good. It means you're in your gungo. You're into the acronyms today.
Yes,
I like it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's good. We're going to come back to that.
Yes,
We're going to take
yes,
our break.
yes, yes.
We take our first break on Business Live Extra. More when we return. Welcome back to Business Live Extra. Caribbean Assurance Brokers was incorporated in June 2005. The company began operations on November 1st of 2005 as a local and facilitative placement broker for life, health, and personal accident insurance business. CAB started with 11 employees. Now their staff count is approximately 100 employees. Combined, the CAB team has over 400 years of experience in the general life and health insurance business. CAB is one of the first insurance brokerages to secure the rights to the distribution of an international health insurance program, ICHIP, throughout Jamaica and the wider English-speaking Caribbean. They are one of the first insurance brokerages to receive the Private Sector Organization of Jamaica, that's PSOJ, Job Creation Award in 2007. CAB has evolved, effecting substantial strides over its 16 years of operation. Here to tell us all about the company is Tania Waldron-Gooden, Chief Executive Officer, that's CEO of Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited, CAB. Tania, welcome back to Business Live Extra.
Thanks again, Mark.
It's great having you. You know, how did the whole, although you're there, as you said, director, now you're in the driver's seat, how did the whole brand, you know, the name Caribbean Assurance Brokers, you know, come about and just the whole branding?
I mean, of course, is our astute leader,
Yes.
executive chairman, now executive chairman, Mr. Walker's brainchild. He didn't want the name to just speak to Jamaica.
Okay.
And so, and assurance, people think insurance, but it's assurance brokers because we assure. It's an assurance. That's the derivative of the word. And hence, the Caribbean is just, we're going regional. And he saw that from the beginning in 2005.
Wow. Is there any, you know, regional plays now, joint ventures, partnerships, you know, with or under CAB at this point in time?
Yes, but I can't speak to that.
No
It's
problem.
in motion. Without giving out any strategic moves,
Right.
it's basically English speaking first.
Okay.
And then we expand from there.
Next one there. And is it key, what's the key with the whole, you know, brokerage business, you know, in your mind, as you said, without giving away the secret sauce? I mean, is it distribution? Is it, you know, more sales team members? Is it products, or is it a mix of all those things?
It's a combination. What I would put on top of that is really a customer relationship activities and what you put in place to ensure that customer service is top of mind. I would say second is the type of product you have and services that you offer. So on the international side, the product offering plays a big role. In general, and employee benefits and individual life and health, it's more the service. It differentiates you. So product development strong on the international side, and that's where we are. And international travel is a focus for us right now. And that's all I can say.
And what's that, like a travel insurance, or like when American Airlines says, hi, do you want to tick this box for insurance? You offer that, but locally?
Yeah, so one strategy is through certain local partners in the tourism sector. I can't say much more on that right now, but we're working on a specific travel insurance package for our clients or for their clients, so that when they come, it's easy to, so it has COVID coverage, it has a couple of other things that you don't have, accidental death, everything related to that, those people in that sector.
No, I got it. And you know, when you look at your products overall, are you happy with your current, you mentioned like the EB, employee benefits, you know, life, health, you know, this international travel. Are you happy with what you have, or do you feel you might have to cull any of those or go into a different space? You're happy with your product mix right now?
Let me split that in two. So I keep separating international from local. So on the local side, I'm not happy, given that I think we can be more dynamic in the insurance industry, that the pressure would then be on the insurance companies to underwrite, you know, and get more creative. That's what is different from the securities industry. you get to be a little more creative.
Okay.
So I would push for the insurance to think more outside the box without breaking any rules.
Of course.
And that's I'm not happy there because I think we can be more dynamic. On the international side now, we have partners overseas from London, out of the US, you know, and so we're able to create, hence you see the iChip product, that's specific for us.
It's a nice acronym, nice name, it's catchy.
Yeah,
you know?
It's International Comprehensive Health Insurance Plan. That's the acronym. That's
that's what it means.
Yes,
okay.
that's what it means.
And your head office or the primary office, is it Old Hope Road?
Yes, it's 94D.
And it's a beautiful office. Great.
Thank
you. I mean, does the business has a percentage of walk-ins or retail, or is it primarily B2B?
It's both. Most I would say right now, given the drive is B2B, but we still have maybe 30% to 40% walk-ins, like individual clients.
So you do get walk-ins. They come in, park up, and just show up at the receptionist and say.
Yeah, but we don't entertain that as much. And given COVID, it has forced us, because you would know that InsurTech is lagging fintech.
Okay. Yes.
And so we want to be a part of the process, that change process to drive InsurTech in Jamaica. I mean, globally, it is behind. It's lagging fintech. And I'm used to fintech where, you know, in the market back in the day, you couldn't pay your bill online and so on. So CAB has made that first move. So now clients can pay online, so we don't have as much.
Is this through your website or an app? Or?
Through website. Right now we have the app, but it's mostly for the loyalty program that we have, where clients can benefit from discounts.
So you have a rewards, like a points program?
Yes, and it's app.
With a card provider or just on your own?
Just us. We're using an app. You go to any provider, you can get discounts on a massage, you can get discount at a car dealer. We have certain arrangements. So.
You're happy with your marketing now and your branding, or is that something you want to see improve with you in the driver's seat?
With me in the driver's seat, it has to improve.
Improve.
Yes, so we are focused now. The drive is on social media presence, so we're increasing that, we're ramping up that, but we need to put more juice behind that. So that's one of the focus for from now to 2023.
To get all these initiatives out there more.
Out there more.
Because I've never heard of InsurTech before. I like it. It's something you could really brand, as Tania Cab.
Really,
I've heard of fintech, but I like this InsurTech.
So InsurTech, we are lagging globally. So you can do that research.
It kind of makes me think of Geico, although, I mean, insurance brokers, general insurance.
So you get to pay online. Clients you don't have to see clients at the commercial banks move that way initially, and now every brokerage firm is doing that. Remember, the IPOs were once all paper, and now so I'm here to
everyone's trying to
help to make that change.
Right. Yeah. And they always say this, insurance brokerage business, dog eat dog. You're racing on to the hotel, everybody's fighting for these big contracts and B2B. How do you win those deals? How do you stay ahead now? Especially you just had a really good quarter, like probably almost record revenues. But how do you stay ahead and maintain those contracts?
I would say the same thing applies, because I find investment banking to be dog eat dog too.
Okay.
So it's not that different. Racing to the whatever, you're racing to as I said, B2B, you're racing down, and you might find 3 brokers at the same place pitching for the same thing. What I found over the years is that it sounds cliche, Mark, but relationship and trust is the foundation for that.
For anything.
For anything in a sales-oriented business, and that's what we're in.
So I know you clearly have the fire in your belly still, but are you finding now that you're driving that? I mean, it's your vision. You're the leader. Are you driving it deeper and deeper and throughout Caribbean Insurance Brokers?
I can tell you now that I've seen it and felt it, and it's not just my observation, it's a team, because I knew the team before I joined officially, because went to every retreat as a director. And the key to that, to permeating throughout the organization, is to get your leaders buy-in and get the staff buy-in. So I've put in place programs where once every quarter I meet with the staff members of each unit. So they want to feel like the CEO is a team lead, not your boss. And that's what helped so far. So now there's a buy-in. I even have a training program once per quarter on how the stock market works. Because when people figure out that if you work for a company, you don't just collect a paycheck, you can earn from being involved in the company, it creates a different mindset.
Okay,
and
so,
I think
you're
that's
starting,
what's happening.
No, and I've seen some of the public companies, especially on the junior market, start to put out, like, in their management discussion analysis, like, percentage of staff that own shares. Like, we saw Tropical do this, like, 57%. I was amazed.
That's amazing.
So, so that's something you're starting to encourage, encourage team members to do.
Since day one, that's what I've been doing. But we recently started that program, I think earlier this year. And what I do is say, okay, our performance for 2021 was 78% above the previous year, and staff are like, oh, but why isn't the stock racing? And then I had to explain that some analysts look at fourth quarter differently than we would. So I want to get a bit into that. So fourth quarter 2021, I think that was misinterpreted. Because
you kind of have like a bit of a, it's like a seasonal, right? Seasonal income, bulky income that falls there.
So
and it almost just like makes a whole year profitable.
So in 2020, that year, that bulk, that iChip international product had its renewal delayed to November, to the fourth quarter.
Drops,
so
boom.
It dropped, boom.
Right.
And then the next year, now 2021, it just ballooned. We did 185% over the previous year.
So it's like you get beaten up for 9 months, and then all of a sudden everything comes good.
Yeah.
No, we're going to come back to and talk about the earnings and what a great job you're doing with the first quarter. I mean, well done. We take another break on Business Live Extra. More when we return with Tania Waldron-Gooden, CEO of CAB. Welcome back to Business Live Extra. Caribbean Assurance Brokers went public in March 2020. CAB and its board of directors have used the proceeds from the IPO since going public wisely, making CAB more efficient, executing successful leadership changes, business succession planning, and market share growth in the insurance brokerage sector. CAB just released their first quarter results, and their leadership business strategy has been working. CAB reported total income of Jamaican 104.9 million for the period March 31st, 2022 this year versus 87.3 million in the previous year's quarter, representing top-line growth of 20%, double-digit. This resulted in CAB registering a net profit of 1.8 million for its first quarter 2022. Still with us is Tania Waldron-Gooden, Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited, CAB. Tania, it's great having you with us.
Thank you.
You're rocking and rolling today, and you're shining.
Thank you.
Just like CAB's first quarter.
Yeah, first quarter.
Yeah, so you know, you were raising an important point. In the previous years, you know, you were a board member.
Yes.
And the market and the analysts in the market at brokerages would really say, you know, why is there this kind of, let's say, loss, you know, first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, but then all of a sudden, voila, in the fourth quarter, things came good. And it was something a lot of analysts would talk about, even myself. And then now we finally saw what we wanted to see. And coincidentally, you're CEO, and we've seen some smoothing of the earnings, you know, really good for the market. The market's responded favorably. What, you know, is this a direct movement strategy, and what caused this?
It's direct. And I'm going back. So when I joined the board, getting the company ready for the 2020 listing on the stock exchange, it has always been two things: diversifying the income stream, as well as smoothing out the quarters. Of course, it's typically, since I've joined at least, and when I look back, every quarter except for third quarter has been in a loss position. So the aim strategically is to push so that each quarter is positive. And we have made some changes. We have changed some sales strategies. The team now has the buy-in, the focus. They know what to do. We have some diversification on the revenue side. So instead of just international being the major driver, the general insurance business, we're pushing harder on that, and employee benefits is right up there. So that's what we've been doing. Also, the efficiency, the middle line. We've been looking at, while the expenses increases, because we have to invest in, as I said before, InsurTech, or else we'll be left behind. We have to do that. You'd see better earnings net profit, if we had not done that, but we chose to do that because what it does is just secure the future a bit more.
So you raised some very important points, critical points, is that, so there's some of the other products that if you, let's say, you broker them, you distribute them, they give you some more like instant revenue or revenue in the quarter.
Yes.
And so you're diversifying from, iChip is a bread and butter, but as you said, you've been diversifying. And so that's giving you some more smoothing of the earnings.
Yeah, so what that means, we're not saying we're going to slow on international.
No. Yes.
What we're saying is international must grow still.
Yes.
But the others must grow more aggressively. And that's what we've been doing. So EB, double-digit growth, general employee benefits, EB, and general insurance, double-digit growth. And that's what we've been seeing. And that's what we want to continue to do while trying to keep costs in check, but not too unrealistically where we stifle the potential
of course.
In the future.
Now, Caribbean Insurance Brokers, CAB, are you the only publicly traded insurance brokerage in Jamaica?
Yes, to date, yes, we are.
And do you feel, so an amazing point, and do you feel it's something you're really taking advantage of yet? Reminding the market that you are the only public one, or?
I think we can do a better job at it, which you brought up the point on the marketing side, which we're now focused on, so you will see more of that in the future. Yes, so we can take more advantage of it, but on the sales side, because I believe, and in my former employment, direct selling really works. That personal relationship, that dependability that clients need, especially on the B2B side, they really rely on you to get it done. For example, on the general side, if you advise a client to cover, say, an accident, but then when an accident occurs, they're underinsured, that's a big ticket item. We advise where the client is always covered enough or more.
And no, I mean, brilliant point on that point. And how do you find, when you look at it overall, recently we saw Billy Craig, MGIB, do a merger. I mean, in a way, two private companies, two family businesses, and the sector is dominated by family businesses, which could be an opportunity for Caribbean Insurance Brokers. But at the same time, they seem to, hold on, not necessarily want to sell. Do you find you're in a big strategic position being public to be the leader in consolidation when and if it happens?
We're definitely positioning ourselves to do so. And I'm going to give you a short answer.
No, that's short and sweet works. Short and sweet works.
Yeah, so we're positioning on that.
On that. I mean, have you ever put that message out there, though? Or
in our MD&A, we put out that we intend to grow inorganically, and we keep it very short for a reason.
And so inorganically means, I mean, of course,
so not just by growing,
inside.
Not just by growing what we explain, but also looking for opportunities to partner or do any other structures.
And Tania, come back to investment banking brain. So it suits you perfectly to go out and acquire as much brokerages. Typically, from what you know, the regulations and everything, do you actually buy a brokerage or do you buy the book of business, or does it depend?
It can be structured either way.
Either way.
Yeah.
Okay. So it
can be a combination.
A combination.
Can be, based on how my mind works. Yes.
Okay, so we'll keep it short.
Yes.
Come into the point you made about sales reps and direct selling.
Yes.
How do you, the realty industry, I'm sure, is similar, but how do you keep your sales reps with Caribbean Insurance Brokers? How do you keep them motivated, and so that you don't have turnover and they're just leaving and joining your competitor and taking your book of business?
Great question, because that can and does happen.
Does that keep you up at night?
Not in my current role, based on the foundation that Mr. Walker created.
Right.
The relationship is not, so we talk about external customers all the time, but internal customers are just as important, and I call those sales rep are my internal customers, and the ones that have the biggest portfolios, we ensure that they're happy.
Understood. And it's a little bit of like a 80-20 rule, not just with the products and iChip, but also with some of your, main financial advisors or associates.
It follows that Pareto principle, 80-20.
Okay, so you could have, 100 staff or more, but really you have, whether it's 5 or 10 that are just killing it. They're bringing in the sales, bringing in the customers.
They are killing it. You said it right.
Okay.
We have some top people, some of them are managers that really hold on the fort. And as you said, we have to make sure they are happy as well. And because I knew the company in 2017, it was an easy transition for me to get in there. And they learn me, I learn them, they learn how I am, I learn how each individuals operate, because you cannot build a business on a cookie cutter approach.
No.
That's not, in my experience, it doesn't work. So each individual is unique, their preference, their likes are unique, and you have to treat people as such. And I find that that's why I don't have a mass movement of people with those large portfolios. They stick with us.
And is CAB or the industry, from what you know, and I'm sure you've done your research, is it largely commission-based, or do you typically get a fixed salary?
No, it's largely commission-based. And but the commission is attractive enough to attract what we call entrepreneurial spirit. So each of those salesperson, account execs, or sales representatives, they manage their book of business like a business.
Yes.
So while they don't get a base salary, the commission rate is as such where they and CAB, the relationship is a partnership rather than you being an employee.
And do you find, I mean, right now, does CAB have any, do you have any satellite offices or partnership offices across Jamaica, or any branches in wherever, Mandeville, Montego Bay?
We don't have branches, but I'm used to the model from, it's one branch, but we have tentacles, hence why we have to push on InsurTech. So we have sales rep across the island.
Oh, you do?
And
and they just work like remotely? Or
so we have that. It's really working
and then they feed back into the head office?
Feed into the head office.
Is it something like, sometimes, you know, you drive around the country, I mean, although ICAA is, you know, in general insurer, but you might see like a little office or something that says the office of Tania. You don't have that?
We don't have that right now, and I don't think that model is for us right now, but for now it works that we don't have the cost of a branch or a little satellite, and the both persons in that partnership, the one that owns the book of business and CAB, can maximize on the earnings without the additional costs.
Gotcha.
And that's how we like it.
Okay. And you know, one day, just pushing the envelope a bit, you think one day you'd make a run at a general insurance license, or make a run at a general insurer that might be struggling, or that's not really in the food chain for CAB?
Let me answer like this. Nothing is off the table, but it's not in our immediate future.
Not in the immediate future.
And remember, you know, let me just clarify, general insurance, yes, we are a brokerage for general insurance. But not an insurer. And are there other financial products that sometimes you might find partnerships with, like if a client wants stocks and bonds, or you have to keep that totally separate and distinct? We don't have to, but we keep it distinct. The only thing that we partner with right now is premium financing, which is a big thing, especially on the general and insurance side.
Right.
General and international side of the business, because the premiums can be costly. So we partner with certain banking institutions or other banking or financial houses that can offer that.
Terrific. We're going to come back to that. Thanks, Tania. We take another break on Business Live Extra. More on the future of Carbon Assurance Brokers Limited, CAB, when we return. Welcome back to the final segment of Business Live Extra. With CAB reporting a profitable quarter and significant top-line growth, we find out what is next on the horizon for the entity. Is it time that the insurance brokerage sector commences to realistically consolidate, and CAB takes the lead role on this? Where does CAB see the growth coming from over the coming 3 to 5 years for its business? CAB is seeking to drive revenues and growth in the local market through a range of new services. We talk about that. And are there plans for regional integration that CAB has in store? For our final time today, Tania Waldron-Gooden, Chief Executive Officer, CEO of Carbon Assurance Brokers Limited, CAB, joins us. Tania, welcome back. It's been a real pleasure having you.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure as usual, Mark.
Oh, great. So we've spoken about a number of these initiatives, but 3, 5 years from now, you know, you've been there, you know, a couple of months in this, you know, CEO role, etc. But 3, 5 years from now, and I'm sure you've done your business plan already, knowing you, and your financial projections already. You've probably done your own financial model with your background.
You know me well.
And got it board approved already and everything, and tick the boxes. But where do you want to take this company and this business? You know, the market cap is, you know, under $1 billion, let's say, a couple of $100 million. Some would say it could go a lot bigger, higher. Stock price is $2 and change.
Yeah.
You know, I know you want much bigger things.
Yes.
Where do you want to take this business in 5 years?
In 5 years, I see CAB as, of course, we're going to say #1 on the insurance brokerage business, but not just locally. I know you keep repeating consolidation, and I know in the investment banking space, that's what is expected, but growth shouldn't be, we shouldn't just look at growth in the local space. Right now, we're looking more regionally.
Okay.
And with our partners overseas in London, US, and other islands.
See, we got something out of you today. That's good. All right.
Yeah, so we're looking at other jurisdictions like St. Lucia, I would say one, Trinidad, you know, so we want to play
English speaking.
English speaking to start with, and I give you 2, but we're working on a couple of ones that are imminent to kick off in January 2023.
Okay.
And that's the focus of the executive chairman as well, and me supporting that initiative to grow regionally.
Okay.
So we see ourselves as a major player in the regional space. Of course, regulations play a very vital role. So we're making sure we do our homework. And once that's done and we tick all the boxes, the sky's the limit. The ticking of the boxes, maybe we have another 6 months to go. And then you will see us, the presence more regionally by mid-2023.
Right. So, you know, Tania, you mentioned 2 or 3 countries.
Yes.
Like in a case like that, because the industry is so highly regulated,
Yes.
Do you actually have to open up, like, say, physical branches, whether with partners or not? But do you have to open up physical branches, or can you do it, you know, as you mentioned, can you do it remotely?
You can do it remotely, but we might want to have at least one physical presence, and would have to be careful of where we choose that presence to be.
Because if you choose, like, say, the Eastern Caribbean for the regional expansion, then, in other words, you can just choose one, and then the other countries can go to that one.
Yes.
Okay. And, you know, you mentioned, like, say, Trinidad or so is a big country as well.
Yeah.
Are you looking at, is it kind of where the board of directors or the shareholders have relationships, or is it more where you see the market opportunities?
It's both. So we see the market opportunities, and we have relationships in Barbados and Trinidad to start with.
Okay. Yeah. And I don't know, anything else? So you mentioned regional, key growth target, but anything else you'd say on the 3 to 5 year horizon that you really want to, you know, go after?
Well, I mean, we mentioned InsurTech earlier, where clients don't have to come into office. And as you say, you have satellite branches, but that's not our model. So we want to continue in the same vein with a model of ensuring that clients don't need to come into a physical space to be able to be serviced. And so that is the focus. So in the next 3 to 5 years, that's where we'd be. You don't want, especially COVID has forced everybody to be more electronic, more dependent. Staff, if you notice the North American problem where staff, people are just resigning. You understand? So people want the flexibility to work from home. They don't want to, And so clients want the flexibility to stay at their desk and do everything, whether at home, at work, and that's the focus.
The modus operandi.
Yeah, Mark, I'm purposely avoiding the 3 to 5 year. I must admit, because there are certain JSE rules.
Absolutely.
And I think numbers and all that's swimming in my head right now are numbers, but I can't speak to that. What I can speak to is that the diversification of the revenue stream will be there in 3 years rather than even 5 years, and we would be much more efficient at that point.
And who do you find, you know, you spoke about some of your competitors, but what makes up, like, the top 3 or top 5 of the insurance brokerage kind of industry now? Like, when you said you want to get to #1, I mean, who is #1 now? Like, who is #2, #3? I know you have the data, but, who is the top 3 in Jamaica?
I can't say who is the top 3. This is the reason. Some insurance broker doesn't carry all classes of business.
Oh, okay.
We carry all classes of business.
So you look at your business per product.
It's not apples to apples in a whole.
Okay.
So we will say, okay, we be #1 would mean that we're #1 in all areas. Right now, I would say number one, international for sure.
Oh, you're number one in at least one of them.
Exactly.
You are. Okay.
So we want to be at least two, I would say.
Okay.
So we want to be number one in all areas.
Really?
And that's
let's just choosing one. I'm picking your brain. Like say, life or health or even EB. Like who would be a number one or even a number two in something like that in Jamaica now? Is that like there's a Sagicor because they're so big?
Oh, Sagicor as an insurer.
But let's stick to insurance brokerage. Who would be a number one in something like that or a number two?
Mark, I must be honest, I can't say.
And is that because some of the data is private out there?
Yes, it's so private, and FSC not going to just hand it to you.
Okay.
But we have an idea, but I can't say because it's more postulating and
okay. And if I said Grace's brokerage is rumored to be the largest,
you mean Allied?
Is it okay? Allied is the name.
Yeah.
Is rumored to be one of the largest. You would have ambitions to really say, can we get CAB?
In the property space, I can say that.
Okay.
Yes, I would postulate that Allied would be.
And property means like you have a house or an apartment,
whether residential or commercial property.
And are people doing that as much now, or they just kind of try and do it before hurricane season? What's the vibe like around property insurance?
Property insurance, Jamaica? It's mandatory, so you don't
have a mortgage,
to chase
right?
it. Yeah,
but are you finding, or it's mandatory overall?
Yeah, you have to have your property insured.
So are you seeing that as we don't really hear much about that space? Are you seeing that as a growth space, or is that kind of
and that's why I keep saying that we are aggressive on the general side. On the general side, we have motor insurance, which we don't play on the retail side so much. It's more fleet insurance, and then you have property, you have marine and aviation. You have
so specialty sides.
Yes. In general, there's a mouthful. You have pecuniary losses, you have fidelity insurance, you have so much. You have directors and officers liability. Yes. So we're pushing on all of that.
So Tanya, you raise a really important point. So if somebody has, I don't use the word random or specialty, but someone can come to you and CAB and say, I have this specific insurance. I don't see it out there, and they can come to CAB to maybe design something for them or
because with our overseas partners, we'll be able to, I wouldn't say create or design, but rather
get a quotation
on something that is not usually within the box, a little bit outside the box. Because as I explained to you earlier, it's not the same from what we are used to, where you can design it, create.
Yeah. But not everybody offers marine and aviation and stuff like that, right?
No,
that's
not everybody's licensed to do that.
So you are licensed to do that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. And when you mentioned D&O, what does that stand for, like that one?
Directors and officers liability. So, for example, every listed company or every company should have that in place. So it protects directors and senior officers from any loss related to a customer complaint or fallout, and you're covered.
Right. And as a last point, cyber crimes now. Or cybersecurity.
So we have invested a lot of money in that too. So yes.
Meaning for the company or like for insurance products?
Yes, so we have it both. Sorry. Yeah. So on the insurance product side, we offer that. I mean, the marketing gets a little small because some of the insurance providers kind of shine away from it, given how big it is, and especially with data protection and all of that. But we can source that kind of coverage for you. On the business side now, as CAB, we have invested quite a lot of money in cyber breach detection.
To secure the client's data.
Yes, to ensure that security data is one of our paramount, our top tier aim, given this new data protection law. But before that, we had things in place, but we have tightened that since 2021. Okay,
that's terrific. Yeah, and Tanya, I just want to touch a little bit more on the market cap and the outlook. I mean, so and I've heard what you said, that about consolidation and different things. But if we just kind of fast track to an annual general meeting, or just look at the future overall. I mean, you really feel the organic growth, because I can hear that. You feel the organic growth, whether it's more sales reps or more remote sales, and the regional play will be able to bump you guys up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so in an AGM, say 2025, 2026, I'd love my shareholders to see that dividend, we become a dividend-paying company because people like returns, and also our capital. The capital appreciation in the stock price would be at a certain number.
Yes,
Mark, I won't say what that number is.
We're not quoting any numbers, but you're up there on the podium at the AGM and you're rocking, and the shareholders are clapping you and saying, Tanya, great job.
where they feel and shareholders become clients as well. 'Cause, you know, there's this disparity across
the whole
board.
roundhouse and dividends.
Yes.
Like
so
that.
That's what we're looking
Tania, thanks for joining us today. It's been a pleasure having you for CAB and also a little bit of your investment banking CAB.
Thank you, Mark.
Thanks
for having me.
No, we appreciate
Always
it.
a pleasure.
On Business Live Extra. It's
Yes.
great. Tania Waldron-Gooden. That's it for another edition of Business Live Extra. Remember, the best revenge is massive success. We've been talking with Tania Waldron-Gooden, CEO, Caribbean Assurance Brokers Limited. Don't forget, you can watch us online at cvm.com/videos/Business Live Extra. Thanks for joining us.